Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. She helps people start their new lives in paradise. She takes care of everything when you want to get married in a beautiful place like Hawaii. We're going to go from Hawaii to outer space here in terms of your wedding. I'm not even sure where we're going to go, but I believe we're going to space. First, we're on a beach in Hawaii. Then we're going up into the sky. Simple Kona Beach Weddings is her business, and she's been helping people for so many years. And I am literally talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of weddings performed in Hawaii. So great to have her back. Our professional of the year, Becky Ringler, is here. How you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks, Steve. By the way, I have a new background today. As you can see, this is one of our wedding beaches that we do weddings on. And I just found that the other day and thought it'd be fun to put it up there.
Love that.
Yeah. So I thought that'd be kind of a fun background to have up. Sunset, it is morning time here when we're doing this, but nonetheless, little sunset hour action.
I love it. Yeah, it's just well, interestingly, in the picture in your background, we can see the sky. And of course, you've done weddings in paradise, but we're going to talk about, at least initially today, weddings in space. I'm not even sure where we're going with this, so tell us.
So a couple of months ago, I had this dream. And in the dream, I was with my husband, Matt, in this black room, and this lady, like the black of space, right? And it was very like, there was like these white metal pipes, and this lady was behind these pipes, pushing one machine from one side of the room to the other. And she said, "We need someone to go into space to move this machine." And we're like, "Okay, that's nice." And she's like, "Becky, I don't understand why you're not volunteering for this." And I said, "Oh, okay." I'm thinking to myself, I have no qualifications, but all right, I can push that machine from one place to another. And anyway, I went into space, and I did this thing, and I came back, and I was very happy. And I realized I was like so ecstatic. I'm like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do this. And I woke up, and I had remembered that when I was little, I did used to want to be an astronaut. I have excelled at many areas of my life. Science was not my forte. I did fine in science, but science was not my thing, Steve. So I did not pursue that direction. But I had written a short story when I was in fourth grade that won second runner-up in the whole state. And I wrote a story about flying to the moon with my parents, but I was very discouraged because we had to sleep in potato sacks on the rocket. But anyway, I've always kind of had this little dream, but I put it back. And this dream felt very significant to me. And I kept thinking, well, that's nice, but I don't really know how I would go into space or what this means. And I started to think about it, and I had this sort of epiphany, where, of course, there is commercial space travel now. Virgin Galactic, for instance, does commercial flights. They're not very many at the moment, but they do them for the regular person. You don't have to have any special background. And I thought, oh my God, wouldn't it be amazing to perform a wedding in space? And they have these little commercial flights that go up, and you're in the actual. They have other flights that last longer. You're not really in quote outer space, but they have little flights that go up, and you're floating around for about 15 minutes in weightlessness in the actual outer space. And it's like, that would be spectacular. So, and I just really feel like I'm going to do that. And I really want to do that. And of course, at the moment, there are no legal things for that. Like, I don't think it would be a legal wedding presently eventually I would think it would be kind of like a captain of a ship who can perform weddings at sea where you're in no legal boundaries. But, with this, the cool thing would be we could go up, it would just be the couple and I, and then have the little wedding, come back. And then, of course, we could get married on the ground either there, or they could come to Hawaii, which is obviously come back to paradise, have a little bit of a larger celebration, and legally get married. But it feels very vivid to me. And it feels, this is going to happen, Steve, and I think sooner rather than later. And I would love to do that. I think it would be so much fun. And so I have other things to chat about that, but I'm curious if you have any questions from what I just shared.
I love the idea. I do love the idea. It is, and I agree with you. We're getting closer to this happening in terms of more regular flights into whatever we consider space. why not? Like something
Exactly. Why not?
so
Right?
different. Yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying what they did was right, but the couple that climbed the Empire State Building
Oh yeah.
and
Right.
the radio antenna like 2 weeks ago and allegedly got engaged up there. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do, but they did something different. This would certainly be different.
Yeah, and the reason my husband and I got married in Hawaii is because it was different.
Right.
We had we knew 8 people, 8 other friends who were getting married the same year that we were getting married. And we didn't want to feel like we were competing with them, like trying to, they were all sort of in the same, we were living in the San Francisco Bay Area at the time. We didn't want to feel like I hate that feeling of trying to do something better than somebody else. So I just want to do something different. And I actually said, I'm like, I wish we were skydivers or like mountain climbers or something, and we could like do something really unique, but we are not either of those things. But what we decided that we did love, of course, was the beach. That was before we lived here. We loved Hawaii, so we thought, why not? And I feel this way about these space weddings. Why not? There are logistical things, of course, that my planner brain comes up with, and I'm planning on calling Virgin Galactic. They have a number to ask them several logistical questions. Because right now they are taking reservation. It's very, by the way, this is a hefty price tag, right? This kind of thing would be in the millions of dollars. Because of fuel alone to get something up there is ridiculous. But they give extensive training. And the reason I have in my mind have sort of focused for me on Virgin is because they have a very user-friendly experience for
Yes.
people.
It
And
sounds like they would be completely open to an idea like this. And you're bringing up memories. How many people have gotten married skydiving? How many people scuba diving have gotten
right.
married, underwater? So why not in space? I'm surprised it hasn't happened already.
Me too. And I looked it up, and there has been a wedding where a guy was at the space station, but the officiant and the bride were on Earth. I don't think that counts, Steve.
No.
I would like to be in space. I mean, to me, there's something so exciting about that. And of course, it's been a dream of mine to just go into space, but to take a couple who, of course, has the resources or I'm looking at all sort of creative sponsorships or whatnot for someone who might want to sponsor that. Even the company itself would be interested in doing something like that um, to make it happen. But I know it will be a thing
Mm,
eventually.
mm.
And I I just think it'd be so much fun. And I feel like, a lot of my couples come to Hawaii and they spontaneously get married. I married a couple last week. They called me Wednesday. I married them Friday. They didn't even really plan that they were going to get married, but he had gotten his marriage license appointment scheduled. And when he went to pick it up, he didn't realize that it wasn't valid in his home state, that he'd have to get married here if he wanted it to be valid. If they wanted it to be valid.
Gotcha.
And so the marriage license agent texted me and she's like, I have this couple here and they really need to get married before they leave on Saturday. Could you do it? And luckily I had an opening and I married them. And I feel like the people that would choose to get married in space, even though this would definitely not be spontaneous because I don't know how long the wait is before the scheduled thing. You have to be flexible because maybe the launch date gets scrubbed, right? These things happen. There's a lot of X factors, but I feel like I'm very prepared for that, Steve, because there's a lot of X factors on the beach all the time. Um, and you just have to kind of say, okay, it's going to happen when it's going to happen. And I would certainly have lots of conversations with the couple to prepare them for all the things you know, that we might need to be prepared for. But they can always get married legally before we go up. But I think it would be fun to do the legal part after, just because then it would kind of like bring the whole thing together. But
Well, you
hey,
bring up a really great point. I never even thought of this until just now, where the marriage license is state by state. What's a jurisdiction up in space?
there is none right now.
Right. Hmm.
And so again, the speculation, I think my husband was saying this. He's like, well, it's like when you're out at sea and you're beyond
Right. International
international
waters.
borders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it would be okay eventually, but I think initially there would be no legislation or statute on that. So most likely it would have to be done either at the launch site or you could fly. It doesn't have to be right afterwards, right? It can be any other time. We would have a second
Sure.
little ceremony. It could be a big ceremony. It could be a whole like beach wedding thing. It could just be, hey, let's get those papers signed once we get back to Earth. But I imagine that people kind of like I have people that elope here in Hawaii all the time, and then they do like a real wedding in their home state or in their home thing, and then they invite everybody and they show the pictures. And so in that case, we've legally done it in Hawaii, but you can do it the opposite too. We could have the space wedding and then legally do it somewhere else, and it could be tiny, like at the courthouse, or it could be big, a big celebration or a
So
small
this is very different. Um, it sounds like you're on board figuratively and literally for takeoff. Are you comfortable with that? Do you have any?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have no fear about this. For me, it feels very exciting. I don't know. Like I don't get like motion sick very easily. I I don't really have any reservations about it. It feels very exciting to me, actually, And yeah, I don't know. I so they on the Virgin site they have a like a little thing about the space flight experience, and I watch that quite a bit and kind of put myself in the thing. And I'm logistically planning like, all right, when we would keep it short, see, because of course there's 15 minutes. You don't want to take up the whole ride where you can't look out the window. That's part of the whole joy
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
So how do we do it? Is there part, would it be possible to do part of the vows while we're all strapped in? Maybe not. If not, we do the basic, we decide what we want to do because it at this point probably wouldn't be legal anyway. So we would decide what the most important things are. We would do those things, probably the I do's and the rings for sure, and anything else. And then, and of course, I was thinking about how do you keep the ring so it doesn't like whoops float off and we don't know where it goes in the rocket. There's lots of cool things I've already been logistically. That's my planner. The planner part of me is sort of trying to work some of these things out. And then, of course, not everything will go according to plan because you never know. But yeah.
Well, that kind of is your forte.
Yeah.
There's a challenge presented, you'll find a way around it and get it done and make it a beautiful ceremony. I love the idea. I really do. I think it's super cool. And again, I'm surprised as we're talking about it, I'm thinking deeper why we're not spending more time in space already, but certainly why nobody's been married there.
I am curious about that too. And I think, people feel like it's a long way away, and I really don't think it is. I don't at all. I mean,
Yeah.
there are flights that have gone up. I don't think it has to be some long, like, okay, maybe like a long space flight kind of thing. Maybe, yeah, then you have to have like way more training. But these kinds of flights, this is just the start, right? Eventually, that'll be like people are getting married on the moon or in some kind of, or in the International Space Station. Although the smell in the International Space Station, I understand, Steve, is awful. And I don't know if anyone would want to stay there. So, um, but yeah, so.
Well, look at it this way. Depends on how you define space, because it could be a high altitude edge of space flight.
They have
And
those long ones right now, the high altitude space flights. Those are like 6 hours, and you're not technically in space, but you're at the edge of space.
right.
So
But
that's,
you're weightless. There's weightlessness and you're up there. And yeah, a few hours of you get the views of Earth. So you really are in, the edge of space. Technically, you're there. And those are much less than, let's say, going around an orbiting around the Earth a number of times over, I don't know, a day or two, whatever it might be.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's if you have the money, it's doable. It seems like it
Yeah.
would be.
I mean, I feel like definitely, if I had millions of dollars or $1 billion or whatever, I mean, I like, of course, this would be like a drop in the bucket, but I mean, I feel like for for couples for whom this is really just like not a big deal or it's worth the spend for them, right?
Hmm.
So, um, I think that it's just really exciting. There's a lot of things. I mean, I've gone into thinking like all sorts of other like permutations of this, but first it's like let's just get up there, let's just do this thing. I think it'd be so much fun. I did create a page on my website. It is on the. I don't know if this will be the video will be shown, but do you want me to show you the page right now?
We can put it. Do you have it?
I
Can
do.
you show?
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
allow you to show that here.
Okay. Let me make sure it it's up. Hang on here, let me find the page. I had it all queued up, and then that's not it. Goodness gracious. Hang on one second. Leave. This is it. Nope. Sorry, Steve. Give me
No
one
worries.
second.
All good. All good. I think if I remember correctly, the going to the edge of space is somewhere in the territory of 400 to 500,000, somewhere around there.
The actual space flight on Virgin is 750,000 per person right now. There are some X factors again that I need to check into with them about whether, can you, basically, can you reserve three people at the same time, for instance? Can you, hang on one second, I'm trying to open this window. And if so, how does that work? What are the health requirements? Because of course there will be a physical, all of these things. So what are the things that are required and that need to, happen logistically? But I know that there's extensive training, for instance, with the Virgin thing. I'm sure all of them have training, but this one for sure. And I'm going to show you where to find this on my site, a little bit more information.
Sure.
The About Us page here. As you can see, you go down, and then here's a little thing about this. And then I created this whole weddings in space page, and it has a little background basically about how this idea came about. And I invite people if they're interested, and then why me? So these are all things here to have this on the site. And I would really, this, as you can see, it's just on the About Us page, not on a tab that you can necessarily click. I don't want to take away from my beach weddings here.
Sure.
But the main thing too is, heck, if there's anybody who might be writing an article about this, or people that are just interested, I'd love to chat with them about it, because I really think this is something special. And this is not for us, Steve, in our childhood, there was, a lot of it seems sort of like this fantasy. I mean, flights were going up. I was home sick from school the day the Challenger exploded. I was watching it on TV. My class was watching it in the classroom, I believe. But I was homesick, and my mom was at work, and I was alone on the sofa when I watched it explode. And I'm like, I didn't really know what to do with that, other than, okay, I guess that just happened. But I don't really have these. It's dangerous, right? We know these things can happen, but I don't really have this fear around it for some reason. I'm not concerned. Steve, I always say I'm going to live to be at least 106, so I'm not concerned about any of this. So.
Well, yeah. you have a passion for what you're doing, and in terms of helping couples start their life together. Seems like it's just an extension of it, and not on the ground. That's the only difference.
And I mean, I love doing my weddings in Hawaii. Like, this is the most beautiful, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful places on earth. And for a lot of people, coming here is kind of that outer space thing. Like I never thought I'd get married in Hawaii, kind of thing. And
that's a really great way to look at it, Becky. Think about somebody that lives in the Midwest, and the closest they have to any kind of water is maybe a lake. Then there's some people that they're like hundreds of miles away from any body of water. They don't have that climate. They don't have the lushness. They don't have that Polynesian vibe. So in some regards, it's a new land, a new space, like space. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we married this couple once from Barrow, Alaska, which is the place that has the most darkness during the winter, during the midnight,
sure,
whatever it's called, continuous
midnight sun, I think they call it.
The midnight sun, yeah. And they brought their kids, and the kids did not do well. They were so uncomfortable in the sand. It was like so weird for them, but the couple loved it. I mean, it was just amazing for them to be here. But it was like outer space for them, like so opposite, because Barrow is a very frigid. They're like, you should come sometime. And I'm like,
it is the complete opposite. It is the complete opposite in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, this is just a different adventure. And I love couples who are like let's do something different. Let's make this, because it's a very special moment in your life. Like, let's make it really special. So I really look forward to that. I think it'd be so amazing to be a part of and to do that. And it's going to be really exciting. I feel like.
So you're looking for anybody that is connected with the space travel. Maybe it could be somebody with an executive at SpaceX, might be hearing us, might be watching us and thinking, you know what, that's a great idea. Let's see if we can put something together. So you welcome any of that? I
do. Yeah. I would love to chat with anybody about it. And or like I was thinking, maybe there's a dating website where they want to have a contest or something, and we could do it, like they could sponsor it or something, and we all go up into space and make that happen. I just think it'd be really exciting. So
I just want to throw in there that Barrow, Alaska. I had a look. Now here it is in July. This is the warmest month for Alaska. This is what they say. It's 35 degrees today.
Yes.
and in a couple of days it'll spike up to 55, but back down to 30s. I'm talking daytime temps, by the way. Hawaii's like space to somebody who lives in Alaska.
It was so weird. The kids just couldn't. They were wearing flip-flops, but they wanted to wear their boots. It was very like they hated the sand in their shoes. They didn't like the feeling of it. It was just, and again, the parents were thrilled and excited to be there. But their kids were having a really hard time. They had a lot of, I think 5 kids, and they were just, I think 1 or 2 of them was okay with it. But for the most part, it was just like the opposite, like being on the moon or being in space, just like, what is this place? And they had never been anywhere but Barrow. So talk about a change, right?
Totally. Even the sand, that's like walking on the moon in a way when you come from there, where the ground is frozen. And tonight's temp, it'll be freezing in Barrow, Alaska. Unbelievable. I thought at least it'd be a little bit warmer this time of year anywhere up there, but not so much.
It's so far north. Yeah, no.
It's so far. I can't. and traveling with, I'm assuming, 5 kids and mom and dad. What do those flights cost? To go from there.
I don't know. See, that's the other thing. Getting to Hawaii for some people.
Might as well just go to space at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got so much going on. Potentially next time we get together, we'll talk about a book that you're working on.
Yeah.
But certainly if anybody wants to really have an amazing, tropical, beautiful experience in getting married, how do they connect with you?
Please go to my website, simplekonabeachweddings.com, and have a look around, fill out the contact form. We'll have a Zoom call together. It's going to be great. Weddings, vow renewals, elopements, all kind of smallish. And I'll take great care of you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So.
The difference is you're always reachable, attainable. You walk that journey, and pun intended, you hold space for people when it comes to this kind of stuff. Thank you for sharing this today. Very interesting. And you never know what's going to happen. And then we'll get together next time. Okay. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.